very quiet. Fantastic. It's pregnant with expectation, I believe. I'm Phil Bloomer. I'm the Executive Director of the Business and Human Rights Resource Centre. We're an organisation that was established about 14 years ago in order to really promote the issues of human rights to the core of business. Our main ways of doing that are around building accountability. Many of you hopefully will receive our weekly update, which is free on subscription. But we try to build transparency around everything that's going on. We track 6,500 companies in terms of the good that they're doing on business and human rights, as well as any issues that there are and challenges. We try to strengthen also the accountability of companies, and we take up 400 allegations of abuse from Indigenous people, women's organisations, workers, trade unions, from around the world, and we take those up to the company HQs every year, and we present both the allegation along with the company responses on our site. And we also seek to empower human rights advocates wherever they are in the world, in civil society, in business, as well as in government, but providing hopefully a global knowledge of the ways in which human rights can really be promoted right through the core of the business model. Whether that's best practice issues, guidance, we try to bring all that together from the whole of what business is doing as well as what civil society is doing on those issues. I should start then by saying, first of all, fire escape. In case there is a fire alarm, it is not a trick, and therefore you should all run like hell. No, you should walk very carefully down the fire escape, which you'll find literally on that side. So you can use this door, hold that door on that side, and it'll take you straight to the fire escape. The toilets, if anybody needs them, are just literally down this corridor. And so I'd like to start really by thanking you all for coming to the Notre University and the law school. We're very grateful to the law school for giving us this venue for the evening. We are very much also thank you for coming, and I think the turnout tonight, the strong turnout, demonstrates the importance of this issue and the keen interest in this topic, which is strictly above you. So strategic litigation on modern slavery in global value chains, just in case you're in the wrong lecture. But the issue of modern slavery is effectively a litmus test for our commitment to business and human rights. After all, slavery was abolished in this country 150 years ago, and it's something that we know is present in pretty much every major supply chain still. So there is an enormous amount of work still to be done to eliminate modern slavery from the operations, and particularly the supply chains of the businesses that are bringing products into our country, as well as in operations in this country itself. I think we know also that it's only the most venal companies and illegal outfits that collude directly in terms of that. So it's about this thing being so hidden, but it's also difficult to find. It's also the case we know that many of the ways in which people have traditionally gone about finding it, audits and compliance, have not traditionally really brought out the hidden nature of modern slavery. And so at this moment we have a major opportunity, huge opportunity, in the next 2, 3, 4 years to really once again put pressure into this issue and try to further eliminate modern slavery. We've got the ILO meetings, we've got the G7 involved, we've got the G20, at least with the German presidency next year. We've got the World Bank talking about it. We've got the European Union with the Dutch presidency now pushing this issue of global value chains, and modern slavery is part of that agenda. So we want to be able to bring all the weapons that we have to the table to make sure we can do our utmost to eliminate modern slavery. That will include, of course, voluntary transparency. It will include mandatory transparency, and we'll hear about that from Kevin Hyland tonight, and from Danielle in terms of the Modern Slavery Act. We need voluntary due diligence as well as mandatory due diligence, as is appearing to happen in France and Switzerland. We need the benchmarks that we've got through Behind the Brands, Know the Chain, that's developing benchmarks now on 4 key high-risk sectors, as well as the Corporate Human Rights Benchmark, which will come out in October. We want the studies on the hotspots, such as which Verite has done in terms of the electronics manufacturing in Malaysia, such as we did as the Resource Centre working with the ETI, the Ethical Trading Initiative and Fair Labour Association regarding Syrian refugees in the supply chains of apparel factories in Turkey. We want also the exclusion that's necessary, such as that which Obama has just brought in through the federal acquisition requirement, that essentially allows the exclusion of trade coming into the United States. We also need incentives through public procurement. But crucially, we also need strategic litigation, a form of strategic litigation that is going to be a vital weapon to ensure that more companies understand the full cost of breaking the law. But of course, there's also a paradox to be managed somehow here, which is how do we ensure that there is that strategic litigation that has done so much to drive new agendas and more commitment, while at the same time, hopefully, maintaining full transparency or greater transparency in this area.